We're going to move along to old business. Approve second reading of the technology plan. And I'll let Mr. McCauley go over that with us.
Right, and that's in your board folder. It's just the second reading. We talked about it last month, and it has to be read twice and approved by the board.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on that or concerns? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve second reading of the technology plan?
Motion.
Dennis Shepherd do.
Okay, Rick, and a second, Janice? Do I hear a second? Okay, Janice. All right, roll call. Janice?
Yes.
Ricky?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
Louis?
I don't see Louis.
We've lost
We've
Louis.
lost him.
And I vote yes. Do we wait, Mr. McCauley, on Louis?
We still have a quorum, so you're fine to move on.
Okay. Okay, so then the motion carries. Thank you so much. Let's move along to 3, the new business that we're going to discuss tonight. Item A, consider a motion to approve start and end times of the schools. Mr. McCauley will explain that to us.
All right, so for a number of reasons, we would like to, in consultation with principals and Patrice as well, and myself, and looking at making up some of the time that we've lost with some of our students due to COVID-19, we're proposing that we move the start time at each of the schools 15 minutes up earlier. So each school would start 15 minutes earlier next year and add 15 minutes of instruction to the school day throughout the year, which would help us in the event that we have to use NTI days or this COVID-19 pandemic continues.
And that would also involve the times for bus pickups to change up too, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about this? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the start and end times of the schools?
So move.
Sharon, a second.
Second.
Ricky, roll call. Janice,
Yes.
Ricky,
Yes.
and Sharon,
Yes.
and myself, yes. We've lost Mr. Emmons at this time. Motion carries. Item B, consider a motion to approve salary schedule for 2021.
All right, and this has several changes in it that I wanted to make you aware of and talk through with me as I'm filming here. But we have we want to make the guidance counselor positions are ones that we want to spell out at each of the schools. Now that we have a guidance counselor at each school, we're asking that the elementary and middle school guidance counselor positions be 205 days, while the high school position be 215 days due to the extra summer duties that a guidance counselor might have. Also asking the board to consider adding a $1,000 stipend for the building assessment coordinators at each of the schools. So this would allow those people the extra time they put in to help us with our K-prep testing throughout the year and map assessments. I think it's well deserved. I'd also like to increase the tech director position from 230 days, contract days, to 240. I'd like to additionally include a gifted and talented stipend, gifted and talented coaching stipend for $1,000 for those teachers that are certified, gifted and talented, that as long as they agree to do some coaching within our building to help our staff and to impact all of our students, that would be something I'm proposing. I'm also proposing that our food service days move from 182 to 181. That's a small change just to get everyone on the same page so that all our staff would be on 181 days so we know when the work days are and when they aren't. Additionally, I'd like to propose that the SAM position at the Paris Elementary School be changed to a Dean of Students position, which goes from a classified to a certified position at the elementary school. And all this information is on the salary schedule that's in the board folder. And then finally, I'd like to create a HR transportation/grant coordinator position at the central office at 215 days. So all the information's in the salary schedule in the board folder, but I wanted to give a summary of some of the changes.
Awesome. Does anyone have any questions or concerns that they'd like to address with this? I think it sounds wonderful. Okay, so I need someone to make a motion to approve the salary schedule for 2021.
I approve.
Louis, motion. Second.
Second.
Ricky, roll call. Janice,
Yes.
Ricky,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
and Louis.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries. Move along to item C. Consider a motion to approve insurance agreement with Liberty Mutual. Mr. McCauley.
I invited David Livingston from Roding Insurance to come on the board meeting and talk briefly about some of the changes or just the updated costs to our insurance in both property as well as workers' comp. So David, if you're on, if you could jump in and share a brief update with the board.
Okay, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So we always talk about, one of the first things we always talk about is the marketplace of insurance and what's happening with all the companies, not only in Kentucky, but nationally and globally, because even though Liberty Mutual writes you as a school, they write all kinds of industries. They write personal auto, they write home insurance, all kinds of commercial industries, as well as the other carriers. In the state of Kentucky, there are still only 3 property and casualty carriers, and Liberty Mutual writes about 135 districts out of 173. And then EME is the work comp carrier. There are about 3 or 4 work comp carriers total in the state of Kentucky, and KEME writes about 135, 140 also of the 170 districts. The marketplace in Kentucky is from a school standpoint is extremely tight right now. All the carriers are taking anywhere from a 9 to 12 or a little bit higher percent increase. Some of the reasons are the higher liability claims that are coming out. You have what they call them nuclear verdicts or social inflation, because juries tend to be a lot more sympathetic these days, and what might used to be a $50,000 settlement turns into a $250,000, $300,000, $500,000 settlement, and nobody's thinking about what that actually means in the marketplace for the insurance. We've also seen on the abuse and molestation side, which is a line of coverage in your insurance policy, in every school insurance policy in the state, abuse and molestation claims have risen by 90% in the last 3 years. And I wanted to, that percentage was given to me by a company representative. So I wanted to see what had happened in Kentucky. So I went and looked, did just like a quick search on Google for charges and cases in Kentucky. And we average an arrest and charges filed every 6 to 8 weeks for a school employee for abuse, molestation, criminal abuse. And as awful as that sounds, I was shocked that it's every 6 to 8 weeks over the last 3 years. One of the carriers just settled a claim for $500,000 in another district, and the average claim payout on these kind of claims is about $250,000. And so since all the districts are together in the state of Kentucky, and insurance is just a big pooling device, and if claims go up, everybody pays more no matter how great we are. So if you don't have claims, you're on the lower side of the increase. You are having claims and not doing well, you're on the 15, 17 or higher percent of the increase. And then on the property side of it, I mean, you can look out the window right now. You guys are experiencing it in Bourbon County, Harrison County, all over central Kentucky. And we're experiencing in Scott County the flooding going on right now. And then the tornadoes and everything else that occurs in the marketplace is just, before COVID-19 even occurred, the preliminary renewals that were coming in were what you see now as far as numbers. I'm not sure what documentation you all may have in front of you, but you can see that the increase is about $10,000 on the P&C with Liberty Mutual. On KEMI, your experience mod has gone up about 45 points to a 1.49. And that, when your experience mod increased that much, that means that your premium has increased as well, because your experience mod goes directly to your premium. So your experience mod increased almost 50%, and your premium increased about 23%, 24%. So KEMI actually gave you additional credit on your workers' compensation, so you didn't realize the full extent of that mod increasing. We did some loss analysis and reports. We provided those to Superintendent McCauley, and are hoping that we get back to business and back to school in a normal fashion. We can come in and do some on-site training and loss control and risk management, because that's about the only way that we can get the mod down, for better training and be on site a little more often, and be able to work with your employees and bring to their attention the safety culture that needs to be had. So does anybody have any questions I could answer?
Yeah, and I think
No
David
questions?
brought a good point that, the 3-year window that those workers' comp claims are measured through. We'll have a large one coming off this next year, so hopefully we'll be back in a better range as far as the mods are considered.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve the insurance agreement with Liberty Mutual?
So
Jeff Shepherd
moved.
do.
All right,
Second.
Janice and
Sharon.
Sharon. Roll call. Janice,
Yes.
Ricky,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
and Louis.
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries. Now we're going to move along to item D. Consider a motion to approve insurance agreement with KEMI.
That's the same thing that David discussed. That's the workers' comp portion of it, so it's just a separate motion.
Okay.
Motion.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion. Ricky.
That's what, Ricky? And a
Mhm.
second?
Second.
Louis? Roll call. Janice?
Yes.
Ricky?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
Louis?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Item E, consider a motion to accept mental health services bid pending board attorney approval.
That's the bid that we opened at the beginning of the meeting, and it would be for Mountain Comp Care, and because there's no competition with them, I motion that we accept it, or I'm suggesting that we motion to accept it pending board attorney approval.
For the Sterling Health.
This one is for mental health focus. This is Mountain Comp Care.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay. So do I hear a motion to accept the mental health services bid pending our board attorney's approval?
Motion.
Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Rick? Second?
Second.
Louis? Roll call. Janice?
Yes.
Ricky?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
And Louis?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries. Then consider a motion, item F, consider a motion to accept physical health services bid pending board attorney approval.
This is the Sterling Health bid that they came and spoke with us a few months ago about.
So
we
moved.
actually- Okay, Sharon made the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Rick, second. Roll call. Janice,
Yes.
Ricky,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Louis,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Move along to 4, superintendent's message. First thing we'll let him talk about is graduation update. Mr.
Right,
McCauley.
and right before we get into the graduation update, I do want to give a shout out and a thank you to our staff and our parents and our families for how we finished the school year. It's been amazing to see how we've reached out and supported our kids, both with just food and nutrition, but as well as just maintaining those relationships and providing instruction, I think, at a very high level for the situation that we've been in. So I want to give a thank you to that. That kind of ties into graduation. We've got plans ironed out for graduation. Just a brief overview. This Saturday, we will showcase our graduates, number one, through a parade from the high school. So we'll leave at the high school. They'll go up Houston, take a left onto 7th, go to High Street, and go around the front of the elementary school in a parade fashion, circle through the loop at the elementary school, and take a left out on Main Street and then head towards the drive-in theater. At that time, everyone will maintain social distancing within there. We have 2 parking passes per graduate that will be there, and they'll be able to have a position at the drive-in theater. We're putting together a compilation video of our speeches, as well as the graduates walking across the stage to accept their diploma from a family member. So we're very excited to unveil that Saturday night. So that will happen Saturday evening. And at this time, if Mr. Matthews is available, I'd love to turn it over to him if he can give you a little bit more insight and maybe answer some questions that you may have about graduation. And I can't thank enough the work that he and his team has done to make this a success. I don't know how many hours of video that they spent in the gym, he and Whitney Gray and some others, but he was there for every student walking across the stage. And I think that sent a great message to our kids and to the community to say that I don't know, he was probably in that gym 50 hours the past couple of weeks doing that. So a big shout out to Mr. Matthews and to the whole team there at the high school. So if you want to touch on anything else, Mr. Matthews, you can, or if you'll have questions, now's the time.
I'll just say real quick that it's been a blessing to do this, trying to find some way to honor these students, make it unique. It was going to be unique, whatever we did. And then just a special thank you to Whitney for, you can praise me, but she had to be there too. And then she's the one that's right now putting it all together and working behind the scenes to make this thing work and to have it looking sharp for Saturday night. So I think we were able to get everybody in and pull it off and, do it at a high level. I'm looking forward to seeing the end product. I'm just, but I'll be thankful when it's over.
And I'll say all that information I shared with you all earlier about the schedule and the routine, that's all going to be in the newspaper this week as well, spelling out the parade route and then giving information about parking passes and things of that nature. So, Joe, Mr. Matthews, if you want to give an update about where we are on the parking passes, I know there were, once we were going to offer to staff, if we have some left, the idea for distributing to extra to families potentially.
Yeah, so I think that we're letting the last bit of the staff roll in. Maybe tomorrow morning I'll give the elementary just a little bit of time in the morning for Mr. Greiser to get back with me if he's got anybody else that wants it. But we're probably going to have 30 or so passes that we can offer to anyone else that would like them. If it's a family that needed an extra, I have not had a lot of requests. Every request that we've had, I've been able to fulfill at this point, which has been school personnel. So I haven't had a lot of others that have reached out to me and said, if you have an extra, can I please have one? So I think we're in pretty good shape. We'll do, if for some reason I get 40 requests in the next 36 hours, we'll do a lottery to make sure that that's a fair system. But essentially, I think we're going to be okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
My-
Mr. Matthews.
My pleasure.
Okay, let's move along to item B. Update, discussion of the 2021 school calendar and fall re-entry plans. You kind of went over a little bit of that earlier with us, Mr. McCauley.
Right, and it's, we could talk for 2 hours about this, but I'm not going to do that to you. I want to let you all know and the community know that we've already established a calendar that starts us on August 12th, I believe. So that's Plan A. The governor and the commissioner have asked us to look at an early start calendar, which most districts are not considering, and I don't think that we need to at this time either. So unless the governor comes through and mandates that we need to start in July, I'm not going to make that decision. I don't think anybody here wants to do that as well. But we're also making contingency plans for starting later, which could be into September. So potential after Labor Day start. So depending on where we are with the virus, we're not even really, we're barely 60 days into this virus, and we're talking about something 90 days away. So a lot can change, but I wanted to let you all know that we're creating a task force to look at 4 different aspects of reentry, whatever that might look like this fall. We've got one that's going to deal with health and safety, another one that will deal with teaching and learning, another one that will support our special needs exceptional learner population, and the other one that just focuses on school and district operations. So we're covering all our bases. We're going to make plans that are built to adapt to as many different scenarios as we can. I just want to let you all know that we're on top of it. And as we discussed earlier, I'm happy to do some Q&A type sessions as we get closer to the start of year once we have better guidelines, because we want to, and we also additionally want parental feedback and student feedback that will help be part of that plan as well. So it's a lot to process, but we've got a great team in place that's putting the best interests of our kids in the forefront. So I'm confident we'll be ready to roll whenever the rolling time begins.
Awesome. Anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask Mr. McCauley? Okay. Let's move to item C, discussion of planting of tree in honor of 2020 graduates and teacher appreciation.
So Brian Washington had a parent reach out to him, a graduate from last year that was willing to donate and plant a tree on the property in recognition of this amazing class of 2020. And I spoke with her prior to the meeting, and she's still willing to do that. And I wanted to bring that before the board to see what your all's thoughts were on it. I think it's a good idea, but I wanted to bring it to the board, and we could even potentially discuss some locations. And she was thinking a native Kentucky tree that would be here for a long time, that the graduates could come back and we could put a plaque at the base of it to allow them to come back and visit. So your all's thoughts on this? I can get with, if you're good with it, we can pick a spot that we think suitable. If you have an opinion right now, please share it. I'd love to consider that.
Have the students had a chance to, do they know that this is going to happen, the tree?
No, not yet. I mean, this is just now, just became made aware of it and wanted to run it by you all first. I'm happy to get some student input on that if you'd like.
I'd say ask them where they'd like it planted. I mean, give them some options like A, B, C, or D. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let them decide where they would like to see it planted.
Okay. We can absolutely do that.
Can you possibly announce Saturday night that a tree will be planted in their honor?
That is a possibility. We'd have to put that in the video because we won't really be doing anything live at that time. But yeah, we could probably slide that in at the end of it to let them know that we'll be placing a tree in their honor.
Okay.
I think it's an excellent idea.
I agree.
Plus it adds beautification to our school property.
Great. Well, I'll get some student feedback and then touch base with Angie before we start digging, if you're all good with that, and we'll just move forward from there.
Awesome. Thank you. Item D, discussion of June board meeting dates.
All right, so surprise, we get 3 board meetings in June, so that's probably the #1 rule of superintendent school is don't put 3 board meetings in a month, but here we are. We need to have our regular scheduled meeting on June 16th to do our regular business. On June 23rd will be my capstone presentation as well as the evaluation. And then on June 30th, we'll need to have a very brief meeting to touch on, just to close out our bills for the fiscal year, because it runs from July 1 to June 30. So just want to give you all a heads up that that's coming. So keep your Tuesday evenings open in June.
Okay. Item E, discussion of CARES and governor's funding.
All right, so as part of the funding coming down from the federal government, Kentucky's getting, I think 19 or 20 million. I can't remember the exact number there for some governor's funding, and then a much larger sum. But the long and short of it is we're going to get about $336,000 from the federal government to finish out to help us address COVID-19. It's fairly flexible in what we can spend it on. Some of it's a little bit more restrictive, talking about technology and food service, but my recommendation at this time is to put that money towards our contingency and make sure that we're able to face any upcoming shortfalls that we might have, not just in 2021, but even potentially in 21-22. But I think this will allow our contingency to be very strong, probably stronger than I anticipated us being in where I was hoping to be in 4 or 5 years. We could potentially be there this year. So it puts us in a good spot with knowing the fact that there are potential shortfalls going to be coming from state revenue, which could impact us in education. And it's just, my recommendation is that we're going to put that in the safety net for this time to protect us. And then once we see where we land as far as state funding and even local tax revenue, we'll have a better idea what to do with those funds.
That's good
Sounds
news.
good.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, let's move along to item 5, board comments. Louis, do you have anything that you'd like to comment about tonight?
No, ma'am, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Sharon?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you. Ricky?
Yes, the wall across the street, I see the bricks are falling out. We might need to put some kind of tape around it or something so somebody walking by won't get hurt or something.
Can you tell me specifically where you're talking about there?
Across the street where the White House used to be.
Oh, okay. All right.
The rocks are bricks are falling out of it.
Okay. We'll get on that.
Anything else, Ricky?
That's it.
Okay. Janice?
I just want to kind of say too that I am just so proud of our district. I'm so proud of the community, the way they have rallied around our students and our staff. Just the way everybody has come together to probably impact and change a lot of these students' lives in a time when, you know, when it's so unprecedented. I just can't say enough about our school district and how proud I am. I'm also humbled. That's all.
Thank you, Janice. Do you have any updates for us, Mr. McCauley, on how much flooding? I haven't been back out since earlier today, and the last time I looked, the water was getting up into our old field house. Any updates as to how much is in there? I know it was almost clear across the field earlier.
Right, and I'm looking out the window right now. It looks like we're about 12 inches up on the field house, and the field is covered. We went in before it hit and were able to raise much of the items that need to be raised in the field house. So I think, barring another foot or two raise of the water level, we should be in good shape. And then we'll have to see what the 8th Street complex looks like, because it's almost completely underwater other than the new building and the top of the soccer field.
Do you know if Coach Barr and Coach Campbell and them were able to get all their equipment out? They've got behind the home plate or the home field dugout, they keep a lot of mowing equipment and stuff in there. I was just hoping they were able to get out there and get that stuff out.
Yeah, I believe the plan was the mowing equipment's been moved into the new building at the higher level, so it
Yeah.
should be fine.
Okay, because I was worried about that. Okay, well, I'm like Janice. I'm so proud of our school system and super proud of our teachers and staff that's had to work really hard to let these kids carry on with their education. And I think that we've done a great job in posting things on social media for people to see. I have in particularly loved the little elementary goodnight pictures with the younger children. I've really enjoyed that. I think once we're able to get back together, I think it would be wonderful if we would put on a nice breakfast or some kind of a luncheon this summer for our staff to show appreciation for everything they've done. They've gone above and beyond as far as I'm concerned. And I know a little appreciation goes a long way. So I want the teachers out there that's watching this or will be watching this to know that we are super proud of you and we're so grateful to have you on our staff and making sure that our kids continue in getting their education. That's all I have. Okay. All right, and with that, and I want to say to the public, thank you for tuning in and being patient with all the technical difficulties that we had tonight. We're very sorry. It just couldn't be helped. We hope that everybody stays safe through all these floodings. We're really sorry that this is happening, as if the COVID-19 wasn't enough. We had to be hit with all these rains. So we appreciate everybody tuning in and supporting our school system very, very much. And with that, do I have a motion to adjourn? Janice?
Second.
Second.
Do I hear all in favor? Say
Aye.
aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.